Middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. It is good. Backfield.
Managed life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, here we go. We continue with you live from the mall. University of Arizona, University of Campbell is where we are. We got to figure out what's the name of this. We looked it up. You looked it up last year. The name of the artwork out here.
Right, I forgot.
I think they look like clothespins.
Yeah, Glenn said it was something like that.
Yeah.
The tweezers.
The tweezers or something like that. Anyway.
I never had paid attention to this.
It looks like something I wouldn't have in my house.
No.
I bet it costs a lot.
Exactly. Anyway, we're right here on the corner of University and Campbell. Come by, say hi. The captain, Kelvin Efon, Sweet Tea, David Adams in with us today. All right, let's get to In the Huddle with Glenn Howell. It's brought to you by Larry H. Miller.
Let's go in the huddle with Arizona letterman Glenn Howell. In the huddle with Howell. He's driven by Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Fiat. Driven by you. Here is Glenn Howell.
All right, so Rich Herrera is going to fill in for Glenn Howell on this one, but this is going to be a good one, folks. I've got two running backs right here, and last week we saw Jade Knott just absolutely run through the Arizona Wildcat defense in the middle, in the A gap. He ran outside the tackle box. He was just a one-man wrecking crew. Two huge runs you heard at the beginning of the game. So a lot's been said this week about gap integrity. During the week, I've got my Arizona insiders. So Sweet Tea David Adams was one of our insiders this week. Kelvin Efon comes on with us on Monday. Glenn Howell on Friday. We work at different folks during the week because I want to go out and get the very, very best people that I can that played the game, that broadcast the game, that coached the game as we talk about Arizona football. So one of the guys I get on during the week is Al Borges. He's a former offensive coordinator at UCLA, Michigan, and at Auburn. So he's been in all the big major conferences. So I can bounce things off him that aren't necessarily Arizona-centric, but are just X's and O's to help someone like me try to explain the game a little bit better. So one of the things that we were saying last week on the post-game show, and I was saying all week, and I just wanted to make sure that I was coming correct. If you're Colorado, you watch the North Dakota State film, you watch the Cal film, are you going to try to do exactly what they are doing when they're sitting there watching the film? So I asked Coach Borges, will Colorado try to do exactly what the Bison and the Bears have done to the Arizona Wildcats in the last 2 weeks?
If you're vulnerable to the running game, you're going to get the running game unless the team's philosophy is just so far removed from that thinking. If they're a willing participant in running the football and you're vulnerable to get the ball run on you, you can bet that's going to be the first place they try to exploit. Now, in defending the run, because this is something as a coach I think you have to be brutally honest about, okay? When you look at your video, are you gapping out all the runs? And by that, is everybody in the right fit when the ball's run on you? Is everybody playing their responsibility? If it's a zone read, if it's a bluff run, if it's an inside zone, if it's a wide zone, is everybody trying to gap out the play and be where they belong? That's number one. Number two is if they are we just getting our butts physically kicked? And that's a recruiting issue. And that's a weight room issue. That's something that goes beyond schematic, if you know what I mean. Because to stop the run, you got to hold up in the trench. And to hold up in the trench, you got to be able to play blocks and get off blocks on time. And you got and schematically, you have to gap out each run so that there's no place to run. And when you look at the tape, that's where you have to say, hey, we may have to replace this player, we may have to replace that player. We don't have a guy to replace that player, so we better recruit the crap out of that position in a year. You know what I'm saying? It's not stopping the run. It can be a combination of things. It can be physicality or it can be schematic, and it could be, what the hell, a combination of both, right? But you have to understand as a coach why that ball's getting rushed on you, because there is nothing in football more demoralizing than getting the ball run down.
About 10 seconds.
Those guys would rather have a ball go over the top of their head and make the pain fast so you can get the ball back, you know what I mean, than have the ball just rushed right down your throat.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I said earlier. I mean, that's at the end of the day, if guys not getting the job done, you got to rotate and you got to look for another guy, and that's how Manu got a chance. But I'll say this, you know, anytime you have only 2 linebackers in the game, you basically have 6 people in the box, the number one thing the offense is going to do is run. And that's just what it is. When you're playing this defense is made up more for the Pac-12 and the teams that throw the ball a lot. When you face teams that run the ball, it's going to be difficult until you start bringing those guys into the box and forcing them to beat you with the pass.
The key thing is want to. Defense is a lot of want to.
Yeah.
Because they're reacting to what the offense does, and a lot of it has to come down to a lot of want to. There was no reason for Colorado to come in here and try and reinvent the wheel. Why? They cannot stop the run, so we're going to run it. If it's going to take a dozen roses to get Janet Jackson to go out with me, why would I send her a dozen daisies? That don't make any sense.
That is the best analogy we've ever had on this pregame show. All right, number 2. Again, this is In the Huddle with Hal. I'm pinch hitting for Glenn. I hope I'm doing okay.
Oh, no.
I want to make sure. Because you know he elevated the level of the segment, so I want to make sure that I bring some good information. One of the things Johnny Nansen talked about, and Jed Fish talked about this as well, was gap integrity and people's eyes being in the wrong spot. So I asked Coach Borges, go down the rabbit hole with me just a little bit and explain what you mean when we talk about gap integrity and guys having their eyes in the wrong spot. Here's Al Borges, cut 8.
Well, every guy, again, with split safety defenses, okay, 2 deep defenses, every guy has to play a gap, okay? If you put a safety in there, okay, if you include another guy, now everybody kind of has to play half a gap, which makes it easier to stop the run, but you're more vulnerable to getting the ball thrown on you, and vice versa, right? What I think Coach was talking about, and this is so critical to playing defense, is eye discipline. Eye discipline is studying your opponent and seeing the scheme. End zone video is particularly valuable in this situation. Seeing the scheme and be able to react and get where you belong to stop the play. Now, where that becomes a little bit more difficult is when you get a lot of conflicting schemes, because offenses today particularly are constantly trying to conflict defenders, where if they overplay one thing, we're going to exploit that by doing something else. And your discipline on a play-to-play basis is going to constantly be tested. Your eyes have to tell you what's going on, and you have to believe it, and you have to trust the guy's
About 10 seconds.
job. And that gets difficult sometimes when the ball's getting run on you, because you start thinking you got to do more than your responsibility. That is when they break big plays.
I'm a firm believer, and people think I'm crazy when I say this. You don't run with your legs, you run with your eyes as a running back. Your eyes tell you everything you do. Everything else responds to what you see. And the thing about it is, on defense especially, you have to want to stop the person. You can't be so, well, I'm going to do my gap to show coach that it doesn't work. You're going to get beat regardless. Well, I was in my gap like you said. Well, but he ran you over when you got there. I mean, you got to want to execute what the philosophy is of the defense. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and it's an attitude that you have to do it with. There's a little bit of nastiness, again, and I think the guys are still trying to learn their defense. They're still trying to learn their gaps. I think this is the third defensive coordinator.
Right.
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like every time you get a new boss on your job, they change how they want to do things, and so it takes a little time to get it going. But while you're trying to get it going, you have to identify the guys that have that attitude, that have that want to and drive, and and I think that's what they're still trying to figure out.
There you go.
It's called overtime. That's what it's called. It's called overtime. Putting in some extra work. Yeah, you got a new boss. He's crazy in this manner, so you got to do some overtime to understand how he works. These guys, most players do, they practice from 2 to 4. That's when we practice.
Right.
We lift weights from 1 to 2, and that's it. Well, in order to get good at anything, you got to put in overtime. You must put in overtime, whether it's film, whether it's weightlifting, whether it's just sitting down with the coach asking him questions. You are not going to be able to execute anything at a great level if you just put in the mandatory amount of time. It's impossible. You can't be a millionaire working 8 to 5 every day.
Wow.
It's impossible.
Great stuff. Great stuff. All right, hey, that's In the Huddle with Hal for this week here on 1290.
That's In the Huddle with Howell. He's driven by Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Fiat. Driven by you on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, I'm excited for our next segment. We're going to get into the offense. We'll take the offensive scouting report. We're going to talk about the running game and the need to establish the running game. Look, Sweet D's already ready to go. Look at that look on his face. He's ready to go. Kelvin, you're ready to go, man. You're giving me the shimmy right now. Let's go, right?
Hey, man, look, I got Sweet D right here. Hey, I'll block for him like I used to block for Trung. We can get it done.
There you go.
That's
All right,
it.
we're going to talk about that coming up next. I'm Rich Herrera, Kelvin Efon, Sweet D, David Adams sitting in for Glenn Howell this week. We're counting down to kickoff. Arizona taking on Colorado comes up at 6:30. Hey, don't forget, after the ball game, we'll have highlights in your telephone calls right here on the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step to handoff. It is good. Backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the board. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko, feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline, circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot, 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away, good!
That's
We're tied.
A huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, everybody, we're getting closer and closer to Arizona taking on the Colorado Buffaloes. Arizona comes in with a mark of 2-2. Colorado looking for their first win of the season. They'll start a youngster today. Owen Mcnowen will start. His dad, Cade, played at UCLA, a well-known family name. We'll talk about him coming up with the program, but we want to take a look at the offense, and I got 2 running backs right here, so who better to talk offensive football than David Adams and Kelvin Efon? So let's get to our offensive scouting report, brought to you by O'Reilly.
Here is the Wildcats offensive scouting report for today's game.
He's into the end zone, touchdown, Arizona.
The offensive scouting report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, folks, we're going to talk a little offense right now as we get you ready for the game. Arizona taking on Colorado. The running game for Arizona has been something that has been a little bit of hit and miss. There's times where Arizona will run the ball with Michael Wiley with great effectiveness. DJ Williams has been great this season. Speedy Luke has had some great carries this year. Here's what Jed Fish said about the running game after the game last week against the California Golden Bears. Here's Jed cut 9.
Our running game was kind of, I think we ran for 150 total yards. There was 15 yards in sacks that got taken away from that. We ran the ball fine. We ran the ball when we needed to. We really didn't have a problem moving the ball up and down the field. So I would say we got stopped on to start the half. In the first play of the third quarter, we ran the ball for 15 or a 10-yard gain. It was 1st and 10 on the 45. Ran the ball again. It was 2nd and 7. Ran the ball again, and got stopped. And then threw it. And it was incomplete. And then on the next drive, we
10 seconds.
2, and then the game was about an 18-point game. Then became an 11-point game. Still mixed the run in a little bit, but I thought that our passing game was outstanding.
Well, I thought that the passing game was good, and I thought that they ran the ball, but I thought that they could have ran the ball even more. And I think sometimes you run the ball just because you're trying to set that physical presence. You're trying to give the defense more time to rest. You're running the clock. So sometimes it's more to it than just that your passing offense is good. It's that you have to establish that run because that is the physicality of your offense.
The problem that I have with the Arizona running game is the fact that they went into the season with a bunch of backs together. They never, to me, tried to establish one guy be the man, and if he ever gets tired, we got something. This running back by committee concept, to me, is not the way to do it. You got their leading rusher is 52 yards a game.
Right.
And Why don't we
let's
give
go.
him some of the carries that you're giving to all these other people? You cannot get a rhythm with 2 carries and come out for 4 or 5 plays, 1 carry, come out for 2 plays. You can't get a rhythm
How about
of the
by
flow of
series?
the game. No, not even by series. By the way the game is going. What for me is if I look like I need a little breather, send somebody in for a play.
Okay, well, let's go back and forth then, because you carry the ball the majority of the time, right?
Yes.
It was your rock. You're going to carry it. Kelvin, you split reps with Trung. So what are the pros and cons of having one guy getting into the rhythm versus 2 people going in? I'll let you guys talk about this.
Well, I'll say this. I remember being in high school, and I used to get 35 carries a game.
Right.
And they loaded up the box 9, 10, 11 people, and I still got 1,800 yards. But I felt like that my team wasn't going to be as successful because once they stacked the box, they could beat us. Well, with Trung and me and him rotating, I felt like we always was fresh. They never could wear us down. I mean, I basically ran the inside runs. He ran the outside runs, but we both could run inside or outside. So I just think where football has went, as a player, what I recognized was I had to make a play when I got in, because if I didn't, this next guy was going to. So I feel like the pressure of having another guy, because Michael Wiley still gets the majority of the carries. I mean, it's only like 10, but Michael Wiley still gets the majority of the carries. And I think Jonah Coleman is the backup guy, basically.
Right.
He gets the other 4 or 5 carries.
Okay, go ahead.
I understand the philosophy of what you're saying. Everybody's fresh, but the thing about it is, for me, you have the off season to get ready for the season. So I need 20 to 25 touches to get the flow of the game and get the feel of the game. And Vance Johnson used to come off the bench on passing plays, and okay. But my thing is,
part of it is just getting enough
you have
runs.
to. Yeah, what you get 10 carries. I mean, that should be in the first quarter, give or take.
Okay, see, that's where I'm going to go with you, and I think, Kelvin, you'll go there as well. The commitment to the run sometimes disappears for a little bit with this team.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to tell you, man, at the end of the day, can you help it? Coach Fisher's offensive coordinator.
Right.
You want to make the splash. The teams want to see everybody want to see the big scores, the big throw the ball deep to Mcnowen. But you know what else is beautiful, though? Seeing Michael Wiley bust an 80-yard run like Watt did, or Ott did. That's also beautiful.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I agree with you 100%. Here's my thing. How is it your running game was good and your passing game was fine and you lost the damn game?
You know what? That's a great point. But for me, you know what else is beautiful? Watching you take the spirit from the other team by running the ball down their throat. That's what Al Borges just told us. There's nothing more demoralizing than having somebody run the ball down your throat with an 80-yard drive.
Well, that's what California did to us.
Right.
That's what North Dakota was doing to us.
What's worse, getting knocked out by one punch or somebody jabbing you to death? Nobody wants to be jabbed to death.
Well, that's okay.
You're going to be more sore. You're going to be more sore.
Well, that's what Borges just said. Hey, you know what? I'd rather give up an 80-yard pass. At least I get the ball right back than having somebody boom,
jab
boom,
you
boom,
to death.
boom, boom. All right. Talking about the running backs, Arizona was a little thin last week at running back. Here's Jed Fish talking about Speedy Luke, who's going to be out for a little bit.
Fine. He'll probably be out for 4 weeks to 6 weeks. It's traditional numbers for an ankle sprain of his nature at his position. And so we're out about 1 week right now, and then we'll have to see how he does, how he progresses. But the challenge, of course, is always how quickly can you come back as long as you come back healthy. So he's hitting the rehab hard. And
10 seconds.
I feel really good about DJ, Jonah, and Michael. And then we'll have that competition for that 4th spot with Drake and Rocker and some of the other guys.
They're deep at running back. There's no rush to get him back. He's a great talent, but he's a young guy. He didn't even have a spring ball.
Right.
He came right in. He ran track, and then he came right in the summer. So, he's a guy, take his time, make sure he come back. They have plenty backs, on this roster that are capable of, carrying the team.
And again, Speedy Luke was the kid from St. John Bosco, came over, and he just accelerates on a dime. David.
No, he's got some skills, but here's my thing. How do you start 7-8 games last season and not play it down this season? I don't understand that. And they got probably the deepest position is running back, and nobody else but these particular three are getting any kind of look. You got Butler that does well. You got
Drake Anderson.
Boom. I don't understand that. You know, one of the things I learned my second year here that I didn't play it down, I went in and asked Coach, I said, Coach, look, I'm better than all these guys. What's going on? Well, you know, Vance Johnson was all Pac-10 last year. How are we supposed to just sit him down? And I said, oh, it's a good, you know, I didn't have an answer.
Right.
And that's what I want to know. You had a guy on the team, had started 7, 8, 9 games and doesn't play it down.
But you know what ends up happening, and this is a part of the when you get a new coach in. Drake transferred in as a transfer, and he is your guy, but you end up bringing in your guys. And Michael Wiley, you got to give him credit. Yeah, you bring in DJ Williams, you bring in a Jonah Coleman, you bring in a Speedy Luke. You know, you got to give Michael Wiley credit because Michael Wiley really turned his game up. He really stepped up and put himself into a position to be starting and making plays. But they have a deep running back room, and that's something that I had said before, and we talked about Rich. I said that, you know, sometimes when as you know, that NFL kind of attitude where you next guy and you kind of forget about the guys, you know, sometimes it works for you and sometimes it come back to bite you.
I'm a firm believer in what you just said, but my thing is just here. I understand you want your guys to do the whole thing, but in practice you learn something. There may be somebody from another guy's regime that can play football.
Yeah.
Let me give you an update real quick on DJ Williams. We only saw him with 2 carries last week. We found out why. Here's Jed Cut 11.
DJ was coming off an injury a week before, so he didn't practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. He was coming off of an ankle. Thursday was the only day he practiced. We weren't sure exactly where his health was, so we tried to limit his reps in the game. Looking back on the film, we probably should have given him the ball more. He certainly has demonstrated an ability to run the football and run the football well, and he had a nice catch out of the backfield, which I think went for about 22 yards or something like that, 18 yards.
About 10 seconds.
DJ's 100% healthy, and came out of the game actually feeling better than he did going into it.
I'm
So
looking
that'll
forward
be exciting.
I'm looking forward to a steady diet of DJ Williams today. He's a thumper running in between the tackles, and he's really nice catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, aggressive runner, real physical, gets downhill, shoulder lean, real nice, hard to get to his legs. But, you know, the thing I'll say is this, but you still didn't run the ball that much.
Nope.
So regardless, I thought Jonah Coleman was running the ball tough, so you could have still gave him those carries, and I thought Michael Wiley. So, you know, is it going to be I think the number is I think we need 30 to 35 carries. I think they need about that many touches.
30, 35 carries. Arizona, I believe, is 2-0. Under that, 0-2.
I think what they need to do is make a decision. You know, every parent loves their child to death, but there's one child that you're a little bit closer to. Has nothing. You'll still give your life
that was
up.
me. That was me. My mom and dad love me much more than my brother and sister.
That's what I'm saying. You'll give your life
Just in
up
case
for
they're
all
listening.
your kids, but there's one that you just get along with a little bit better. There's a back that you say, okay, if I got to go with this one play guy, which guy am I going to put in there? Find him, feed him, and let him go.
I love you, D, but I don't agree. And the reason why I don't, man, because when that guy go down and the next guy ain't ready to go because he hasn't got his reps, I just don't believe in it. I work every day just like you work. I love Trung to death, but there was no way I thought he should have got all the carries. No way. I thought I should have got more. To be honest with you, I thought I should have got more than Trung.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we had to split it. But no way I thought Trung was better than me at 75 or 80%.
No way. I'm not saying all the carries. I'm just saying the bulk.
So we get into a rhythm.
That's true. But here's my thing. Let's say you run the ball 40 times.
Yes, sir.
Right.
One guy got it 20, and then the other 3 split up 20.
A lion's share.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, from back in the day, did Walter Payton come out the game?
That's back in the day,
Hell
though.
no.
But I'm going to say this here, too. Look at what
you?
happened to all our backs, how short our careers are, and the physical wear and tear, you know, the pain that some of us have to go through because we did have to tote. I mean, I regret toting the ball so much in high school. That was crazy.
Go ahead, David.
Where's your
Then
boy
we're going to move on.
from
Go ahead.
Tennessee? The Titans, the running back.
Derrick Henry.
He don't come out the game.
He went down too.
But I'm just saying.
Well, okay, we were talking about this the other day in the studio. The life expectancy of an Alabama running back, they don't start him for 4 years. The one comes up after the other.
I understand, but let's take him. He had 12,000 yards in high school. Nobody in the world rushed for that many yards. He had 2,000 yard season in high school, college, and in the NFL. And 1 year he had 4,000 in high school. I don't care.
4,000 in high school.
I don't care if he was playing against the elementary school.
Right.
That's a lot of yards.
That's a lot of yards.
All I'm saying is that when the mentality changed that we got to do the run by committee thing, the mentality of the person changed.
Right. Okay.
You cannot tell me that every quarterback from back in the day is tougher than the quarterbacks now. No. It's a mentality thing.
All right, let's move on. David Adams, Kelvin Efon, Rich Herrera with you as we get ready for the game. One of the things that I want to see, I want to get your guys' opinion on this. It seems like I get a little bit of two different Arizonas. I get the Arizona where I love watching them up-tempo, boom, 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 moving the ball down the field. Then you get the Arizona where they're airing the ball out, playing a little bit more catch-up. So I asked Brendan Carroll this week about a couple games in, how do you set this team up to get in that up-tempo in a more consistent basis? And he talked about it starting up front with the offensive line. Here's Brendan Carroll.
I want our guys to be really physical. I think we can execute that style of play, and I think we were getting close to doing it in this past game, but we didn't do very good coming out of halftime. So
10 seconds.
Deal for us. We've got the lead in the game, and then we don't go add to it. That's not good on our part. We got to fix that. So I think we had that little lapse right there really hurts.
Speed of the game. I think the speed of the game changes. Sometimes you can put your foot on the gas and run your basically 2-minute set. Where you're going to tempo offense, and sometimes you got to slow it down because you don't want your defense. You don't want to score so fast that your defense.
So I'm going to give them a breather.
Yeah, they right back on the field, and you're wondering why they're getting ran over. Well, it's because the other team has 100 plays. So you limit that by. Again, we 2 running backs here today, so you're in trouble. Usually have a tight end, but you got 2 running backs. But usually you limit
Hit
that.
the tight end.
Yeah, but you limit that by running the ball, man. You run the ball, and sometimes it does pop, and that is a quick clock. But usually 5 yards, 3 yards, 8 yards, and it just grinds the team and wear their defense down.
It's an oxymoron when you say we want to be physical and you pass a lot. You cannot be physical backing up. And that's what linemen do in passing. They back up, back up, back up. If you're trying to be physical, that means go forward.
How hard is it to run downhill if I'm pass blocking all the time?
It's hard because you haven't had a chance to set your blocks is what we call it. Setting your blocks is mean that you give me a time to soften this dude up a little bit. Like don't soften me up automatically by me dropping in my sets. I'm dropping and dropping and dropping, and so this guy gets to rush me. So he
feels better.
Yeah, he's building up his
confidence.
Let me come off the ball and fire at this guy and get some licks on him. And that's what you tell coach as a running back. Like let's go and run some ISOs at these guys, man, and make these guys realize they're gonna have to deal with this run.
There's a saying that I've been using for all the time. Burn your boats. You burn the boats so you can't go backwards.
Right.
When you're trying to take over the island, burn the boats. The only way I can go is back because the boats is gone. So backpedaling to block, you can't be aggressive like that.
That's a great point. It's a great point. Hey, one last thing about the offense. Carl Durrell was asked to evaluate Jaden DeLora, Arizona's starting QB. Here's what the Colorado coach had to say.
Very confident quarterback, very experienced quarterback. I think he's a big catalyst for their offense. He's a really good player. Played at Washington State, was the starter up there. So they acquired him over the offseason, and he's really given that offense the life and the confidence that you would want. He's an experienced player that knows how to read defenses. He can extend plays. He has really good vision. He can move the safeties with his eyes. He does really, really good veteran moves and things that are allowing for that offense to kind of hit some on cylinders. Their skill guys are making plays in the past.
10 seconds.
Effectively. They move them quite a bit, so they keep defenses off balance. And so I would say the quarterback has really made a world of difference for him.
I like how you said that, Rich and David. Acquired. What's
Acquired.
that? We acquiring players now. But no, he's right, man. He's right. I mean, Delora is all that, man. When you see that kid plays, man, he has the moxie, he has the savvy of a big time guy. When you see him, he carries himself as a guy that believes he can win big time games, and he's done it in the Pac-12 already at Washington State. So you see him pressing a little bit because he's trying to make this team get that feeling of what winning look like, and so he's going to press a little bit and make some mistakes. So that's why I said, Rich, some plays you got to call some runs. Sometimes you got to call some little passes where they all stop to set him up where he doesn't have to, where he has an option to go for the deep ball. Because when you got a guy that's hungry like that, that's what he's going to do. He's going to look for the big play because all he's doing is trying to rally his team.
When you're not the prototype of any position, you have to have confidence, and you have to your confidence has to bring the whole team up.
Yeah.
Anytime 5'11", 190 quarterback, you cannot show any type of weakness. Somebody shoots you with a gun, you rub some dirt on it, and you keep going.
Boom. I love it. All right, coming up here on the pregame show in the next hour, wow, I got Jake Fish who's going to join us coming up in just a minute, and Byron Evans in the next hour. Don't go anywhere. We are counting down to Arizona taking on Colorado.
Got the offensive spotlight out, Q.
We'll do that for you coming up. By the way, that's been our offensive spotlight brought to you by O'Reilly.
That's the Wildcats Offensive Scouting Report. The Offensive Scouting Report is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly Chevrolet, get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, folks, we're getting closer and closer. Arizona taking on Colorado. Don't forget, after the ball game, we'll have highlights in your telephone calls coming up right here on the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth
Okay,
Management
so
Pregame Show is brought to you
here's
in
what we're
part
going to do,
by
JW,
Royal
since we can't
Cadillac
put two
Buick
on at the same
GMC,
time.
Mesquite Valley Growers.
Yeah.
Lexus
We're going to
of
go real
Tucson.
quick. Here, keep your headphones on. We're going to keep. I'm going to do the scoreboard real quick. Then we're going to come back.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down, and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. It is good. Backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the board. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko, feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline, circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot, 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away, good! That's a tie.
Huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
All right, we got a busy hour coming up as we count you down to Arizona, Colorado, coming up at 6:30 here on 1290. Rich Herrera, the captain, Kelvin Efon, and Sweet D, David Adams, filling in this week for Glenn Howell, although Glenn better watch himself, Sweet D, because you've got moves.
I'm trying not to take his job. I really am.
You're a good friend. But you know what? I can tell you're a Larry Smith guy.
Very much so.
Very much so. All right. Very quickly, let's get to the Pac-12 scoreboard. It's brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers.
Here is today's Pac-12 scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery. Here is Rich Herrera on Wildcats Radio 1290.
I want to get to this real quick because we're going to have 2 guests joining us this hour of the program. So last night, the UCLA Bruins took care of the Washington Huskies at the Rose Bowl last night. 40-32. Washington pushed late in the ballgame, but it was all Bruins, 40-32. Behind DTR taking down Washington. Early ball game. Oh, the Beavs. I had so much confidence in the Beavs. They lose last week to USC. They get hammered on the road versus number 12 Utah. It's a final. The Utes beat the Beavs today 42-16. They're getting loose up in the Palouse. Just getting started. They're in the first quarter, no score. Cal taking on Washington State. A little bit later tonight, it'll be the Arizona State Sun Devils at the University of Southern California late game. Stanford at number 13, Oregon. That starts at 8 o'clock, and, of course, we'll get going at 6:30, Colorado and Arizona. That's the Pac-12 scoreboard for this week.
That's today's Pac-12 scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
All right, I like you two. I like hanging out with you two. I like talking football with you two. But I think we need some defense on this pregame show, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think we need a defensive perspective. Yeah. So we are going to, JW, let me know if we're ready to go.
We just need the right way rundown, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got to do the right way rundown first, and then I'm going to tell you who's coming up next. Mm-hmm. Right way rundown. I'll tell you who's coming up on the program.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
See, I got a little excited because we're getting extra guests coming on the program. All right, coming up on the Right Way Rundown, Jake Fisher, linebacker, University of Arizona. We'll talk about gap integrity and defense and hitting and tackling with some people. Also, who else is coming up on the program?
Byron Evans.
All right, all that coming up, and then we'll take a look at the defense as the Arizona Wildcats get ready to take on the Colorado Buffaloes. And are we ready to go, JW?
Yeah, just 1 sec.
Okay, we're gonna get Jake Fisher on here in just a second. I'm gonna shut up. Hey, don't everybody cheer at once, but I'm going to be quiet for just a minute and let you guys talk to Jake Fisher. I got running backs and I got linebackers. Both of you stand behind the big uglies down in the trenches. I want you guys to talk about Arizona football, what we're seeing right now, and primarily Arizona trying to run the ball and trying to stop the run. So as soon as we get Jake Fisher on, we're going to run out to our guest hotline and talk to him. Because, again, this is going to come down to running the football. Who's going to impose their will on who? Colorado has been porous in trying to stop the run. Arizona's had a hard time. Somebody's going to figure this out today and try to shut down the other side. Again, Colorado looking for their first win of the season. Arizona looking to go 3-2. All right, we run out to our guest hotline. Let's bring Jake Fisher, an Arizona linebacker, to have him chat with our two running backs right here. Jake, thank you so much for joining us. You're on with Kelvin Efon and Sweet D David Adams. How are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, thank you, brother.
I'm doing good. I say Jake Fisher, everybody's favorite linebacker. I'm talking about from Lance Briggs to Scooby Wright. I mean, Hammersmith, all those guys, Scooter Sprott, all those guys chimed in when we said that we had you coming on air today. Tucson native, Ironwood Ridge headbanger. I mean, the kid was everything up there. Turned Ironwood Ridge into a nice little powerhouse down here in Arizona, man. How you doing, man?
We're doing well, but that last part, we got to get Ironwood back to where we used to be. I'm tired of seeing us losing, man.
Oh, man, I'm sure, man. I think y'all got a new coach over there, so, hopefully he's taking it back in the
we do.
In a good direction. All right, man, all right. So tell me, Jake.
Hopefully he can do a Jed Fish.
Hey, a total turnaround, 53 new players, huh? but I'll say this.
Absolutely. Brand new team.
All right. So Jake, who recruited you to Arizona? Who recruited you here?
The late, great Coach Nickel and Coach Kish. Those were my primary two.
Your primary two. Oh, man, great. So how was it as a kid growing up from Arizona? Did you have a chip on yourself growing up here in Tucson, Arizona? How was it playing for your hometown team?
Of course I had a chip, and the thing is, growing up, probably until my freshman year, where, we finally got to go to a couple of, 7-on-7 camps and stuff like that. I had never had any contact with anyone at the U of A. I remember, when I was a kid, a little kid, I remember how good the teams were back in the 90s, and I loved watching them. My family's all from Nebraska, so we have an old picture where we went to the Holiday Bowl. I think it was 96 or I forget the year, but they played against Nebraska, and my whole family, they all had Nebraska shirts on, and I was rocking a University of Arizona shirt with one of the big foam fingers. And it's just funny how that all comes around because my top two teams I wanted to play for were going to be Arizona and Nebraska. Nebraska said I was too short, and when I went to an Arizona camp, I got an offer right after the Rising Junior camp, and from there on, I fell in love with the university. And, growing up in that town, you're always a huge Arizona basketball fan, but, football had a 10-year period where they weren't very good. So when Coach Stoops came in and started turning the program around, I really took a hard look, and I never thought I was going to end up, playing college ball, but as soon as I got that offer from Coach Nickel and Coach Kish, it kind of changed my whole view on everything. So, all the guys from Tucson, we all kind of have a respect for each other, and we all want to do well for the university because, hey, it's our hometown. So, yeah, we do go on with a chip on our shoulder.
So what do you think about the current team right now, the defense that's getting played, the linebacker play? Rich was talking about gap integrity. So what do you think about, what you've been seeing?
Well, I think that the two games where we lost, right? The first one against Mississippi State, I'm just going to go from the other part of the team here first. But the other side of the ball, on offense, we were just pushing too much in the Mississippi State game. Our defense came to play, and then we let up a couple of scores late in that game. When it came down to this past game, it looks like, and I know why Jed Fish is saying what he's saying, it looks like, we have guys out there that maybe they're not going full speed in practice, ones versus ones. And so sometimes when you don't do that, and it might be because of injuries and because we got a long season ahead of us, but you got to start implementing some of that run defense against, the other side of the ball's ones, or else you're going to kind of get out of a groove. I always tell folks, like, going into my senior year, they sat me out because of the lingering, knee issue. And I didn't do a lot of stuff during camp. Well, if you don't do a lot of stuff during camp or during practice, it feels like you lose a step and like you're not in rhythm. And so the first part of the year, I didn't think I was playing very well. And then finally, we started doing more ones-on-ones, more, good-on-good type run fits and things of that nature. And then it just starts clicking. So, you have to kind of find a balance. But it's one of those things that you can fix easily. If you know where to go, and if you play ones-on-ones in practice, you get fits set up, and then you just go out there and you play with your hair on fire, that's something that can easily be fixed. I love following Jerry Roberts' dad on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
He calls his son Baby Ray Lewis, and I love it because he tries to rip your face off every time he tackles you. It's not just hey, I got to tackle to get a tackle. He's trying to hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I like when they go downhill and you hear the popping, even though it's on TV. That's how you know someone's doing their job.
Jake Fisher joining us right now, Arizona linebacker, our guest. Talk with Kelvin Efon and Sweet D David Adams. Kelvin?
So I always felt like Arizona, just the attitude, regardless of if we went to bowl games or not, there was just a nastiness about our team, or aggressiveness about our team. Do you think that was the coaching, or do you just think that was the mentality of the players that we had here? Because I always felt like our guys were a little undersized, so they had something to prove.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like that was the tradition of Arizona. Just I won't say overachieving, but a nasty team that was going to play within the limits of the game, but was going to be very aggressive, in the way that they played.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, when I was there, and you know these names as well as I do, some of the guys I got to play with, man. I mean, you remember X Kelly? I mean, he was maybe 195 as a senior. He'd go down and he would pop somebody's helmet off. The year before I got there, you had guys. He actually started when I first got there. But you had guys like Brooks Reed, Earl Mitchell. Then you had safeties. You had Ant. You had all these guys that may have gotten looked over by their hometown team, right? Like some of the guys from Texas, they didn't get an offer from Texas. Some of the guys from Cali, they didn't get that big SC offer that they were looking for. And they wanted to go to a place where they can prove to themselves and to everyone else that they are, self-made men. They came here with that attitude saying, hey, listen, when we go against the teams that looked over us, that we grew up watching and wanting to go there, we're going to go and we're going to bust them in the mouth. So when you have guys coming from Texas and Cali, I think that's one of the big things. But also it is the mentality of the player, but the coach as well. If you have a winning culture and someone comes out and they try to hit you, you hit them right back and you go twice as hard. So as we're developing that winning culture and, some of these guys that we're recruiting who are really good, they can play almost anywhere in the country. But in Texas, the Longhorns, and in Cali, the Trojans, when they look over them and they go to Arizona, they're looking for something to prove. So I think there's a few different things that go into that. But when we were there after that year where Stoops got fired, that next year, the first few games, we played like crazy, but we were very thin. So when a couple guys went down, our defense started to just not look very good at all. People were getting injured, knees, shoulder issues, stuff like that. The next year, I think they did this deal where they went back and they said if we were in a conference other than, the Pac-12, right? So the Pac-12 and the Big 12, it's all about air raid offense, get as many points, first downs as you can, take a few shots. But if we would have been in a different conference, we probably would have been a top 30 defense. And that's with a lot of guys that were under-recruited, that were smaller. I always point to people like Jared Tevis. I love Hood. He was my nose tackle. Tevin. These guys were under-recruited, but you go and watch them on film, and they're just banging people. So, I love that mentality. And I think, when Stoops came in originally, he looked back at, the Desert Swarm, and those guys said, we want to play like this, fast, physical, go hit somebody in the face, tackle with purpose, and don't back down to anybody.
I tell you what, I agree with you 100%. I'm a Tucson guy and overlooked by everybody, so I understand exactly what you're saying about it. I think one of the main things about coming to Arizona, it's a big-time school, but it's not respected across the nation with the Alabamas, UCLA, USC's. So you're still going D1, but it's not D1 that you need to worry about, and that's why we were successful, because nobody believed that we could do it until it was done. And I think that is the history that this team needs to take some pride in doing some things, and look at a little bit of the history of some of the players that came through that weren't supposed to be anything. Like me, you, Ifan, players like that.
Yeah, and my other thing is, this is really it's a diamond in the rough. I mean, you have probably the biggest college town in the entire country. Everyone, when you have a good team, rallies around. I mean, we always have good basketball, and I mean, they could be playing against some random D3 school, and you still get a full stadium. So it's one of those things where if we can find a coach, and I'm hoping Jed is that guy. You find a coach that doesn't look like at this as like a stepping stone, and then you have some early success, and then somebody comes and offers them double the contract to go there. I'm just hoping that somebody that good who can recruit, who's not just a used car salesman. He actually means what he says. He works his tail off like Coach Fish does, where he goes and he raises a lot of the money for the program on his own. You know what I mean? Just working relentlessly. Creating relationships with all the big schools that you need to in order to get the best recruits in the country. I'm hoping that this isn't that stepping stone, and I hope that he can stay here because you can put together a really good tenure. You could put together a really good team, and you can have a program down in Tucson that might be good for that 10 to 15-year period, compete for Pac-12 championships. That's there. We have all the resources. It's just somebody needs to stay there, kind of galvanize the troops, make sure that everybody knows that they're not going anywhere, and then, I'm hoping that Jed Fish is that guy.
Jake Fisher's been our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Jake, we appreciate it so much. We'd love to get you back on the pregame show again real soon.
Absolutely. Just let me know, guys. Love to come on.
Bear down. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Jake Fisher's been our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290. All right, coming up next, Byron Evans is going to join us. Man, we're going big today, right?
All right, man, we had to get the linebackers on. We had to get that defense. I told you we had a tradition of linebacker play, a tradition of tough defense. So, man, we had to get some of those guys.
All right,
go big or go home.
Players-only meetings coming up next. I'm Rich Herrera, along with the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Sweet D, David Adams, filling in today for Glenn Howell. We're having a good time out here. We're counting down to Arizona, Colorado, coming up at 6:30 right here on your home of Arizona football. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats.
How long before you go to him when we come back from break?
We'll probably go right to him, if that's okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Health well managed, life well lived.
All right, and we let Byron know that we're running a couple minutes late, so he called and told him, so we'll be ready to go. And then again, for that one, I just get out of the way. You guys just talk. Nobody wants to hear me.
Hi, this is Mary with Mesquite Valley Growers. If you haven't been here in a while, you'll be absolutely astounded. MVG features incomparable plants, trees, flowers, cactus, and everything in between. This really is the finest garden center in the West. Now is the best time to get planting, and Mesquite Valley Growers is open with everything you'll need. Mesquite Valley Growers, on Speedway just east of Pantano, open 7 days a week. Mesquite Valley Growers, Tucson's unique destination.
Ever get the urge to get out and see this beautiful state up close and personal? Then get on down to RV City in Huachuca City and camper up with a newer used RV fifth wheel travel trailer or pop-up. And we guarantee the short drive will be well worth it because we'll beat any deal anywhere. And we guarantee it. Bring us your best deal and watch us knock it out of the park. Our small city low overhead pricing is why we can meet or beat any deal you'll find in Tucson. Low overhead pricing, big city selection. That's always the ball game at RV City in Huachuca City.
Hey Kev, the client needs that document ASAP.
I'm trying, but the internet is so slow. And now it isn't working at all.
Is your internet provider holding business back? Switch to one who keeps you moving forward. At Cox Business, we know how crucial connectivity is to your success. That's why we give you peace of mind with 99.9% network reliability and 24/7 support. Visit coxbusiness.com for details. All services subject to Cox Business general terms.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first.
Hey, Rich.
Yes, sir?
No answer. I'm trying for the third time right now.
Byron's not answering.
Tell him to call us. It would be really easy.
If he could call us, I'll give you a number.
VP, when it comes to your home improvement needs, stores are open Monday through Saturday or order online at thewindowdepot.com.
Ask him to call that number.
More than a window store.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few
Yeah, I was going to call that
zombie
number.
kills, and all your favorite sports teams live. When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
What do you mean, trenchless?
Means no trench.
But it's the sewer line.
And they did it without ruining my yard.
The yard we're standing in?
The very same.
I don't know if I trust that.
I trust that because I trust them.
Them?
Ram Plumbing.
Locally owned and operated Ram Plumbing, offering a comprehensive range of plumbing services from fixtures to installation to trenchless sewer replacement. Turn to Tucson's most trusted plumber. When your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double. Online at bestplumbertucson.com.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured we never add market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. So this September, head over to Royal Kia, where you can get a new 23 Kia Soul LX lease for only $189 per month for 30.
We got 30 seconds. Still no Byron Evans.
All right, we just left
That's
him a message
right.
as well.
A new
We'll
Kia
just talk
for
until
under
then.
$200.
Okay, sounds good.
It is to buy a new car at Royal Kia.
And we gave the number and
dealership
asked them to
is
call
different.
us.
Sale and
Sounds good. We got about 15 seconds.
stock number T27483. No security deposit. Mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $489 dock fee. Now at Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. Rich Herrera with you as we count you down to Arizona taking on Colorado right here on the home of Arizona football. This is Wildcats Radio 1290, the captain, Kelvin Efon, and, of course, David Adams, Sweet D, legendary running backs I've got next to me as we get you ready for football. Again, Arizona comes in with a mark of 2-2, looking for their third victory of the season. A desperate Colorado team comes in. They're 0-4 on the season, looking for their first win of the season. We're trying to get Byron Evans to join us here in just a few moments, but until then, we'll kind of keep it right here with my guys as we get ready. By the way, Brother John just came by, so he's bringing us lunch. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So I only ordered 2.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, I want
so
you guys to fight for reps.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so you're going to be short.
That's right. Well, hey,
Yeah,
last
man, D,
week.
we good.
Last week, though, remember, it was pastries 2, Rich Herrera 0. Like, I didn't eat any. I didn't have any pastries last week.
That's right.
When we were at the casino.
You don't want to miss them rib dinner, though.
No. In fact, Brother John, so I owe the play-by-play crew for Colorado. They helped us out on the pregame show a couple of years ago at the last minute. So I said, when you come down to Tucson, I promise to take care of you. So Brother John's actually going to cater their dinner up in the press box for the Colorado radio crew.
Oh, okay. So
we're taking care of them.
Get our meal. We know where it went.
No. I got you take care of first, and I'm going to take care of them up there. So again, Brother
good.
John, he does such a great job out here, and it's kind of fun if you ever just want to come tailgate. But you don't want to bring your own food. You don't want to out here cook and everything. He actually has all the ribs and macaroni and cheese and everything over there. So you just go over to their stand, grab it, and go tailgate without having to cook. Although, are you a big tailgate cook?
I'm not a cook at all.
No?
No. I'm a professional eater.
I do. There's something I like about you.
I will sample everything that you're cooking.
Because today smells good out here, doesn't it?
It does smell good.
It does smell good. What about you? Kelvin, are you a barbecuer, cooker, or are you an eater?
Oh, I'm definitely a cooker.
Oh, what do you cook?
Yeah, I cook. I can cook anything. I'm the oldest brother, man.
Right.
I got 3 younger brothers, so I can cook whatever you want.
Well, give me a for instance. What's Kelvin go to?
Barbecue wings.
Oh,
I love barbecue wings, man.
See, that's a sign of somebody who grew up with some money. We had cereal with no milk, so we could make a big pot of spaghetti that lasts 4 or 5 days, We didn't have all this elaborate barbecue.
I could do Dr. Pepper wings.
Well, we had our own chickens in the yard now.
That's right.
Yeah, we had our own chickens in the yard. So imagine having to catch them and do all this and do all that.
Bro.
So we had a couple of those.
My great grandmother used to call me, and she used to snap that neck.
Yeah, man.
Pop. And watch it. I'd watch it run out. I'm still traumatized. I'm 58 years old. Still traumatized over that stuff.
Oh, that is awesome.
If you want to move defensive scouting report
All right,
here, we could do that.
you know what? Let's do this. As we're trying to catch up with Byron, we're going to move up and jump into our defensive scouting report. That way, we give him a couple more minutes to call out the program. So let's get to our defensive scouting report. It's brought to you by Ram Plumbing.
Let's look at Arizona's defensive scouting report for today's football game.
And it's intercepted, picked off. Wildcats back with the ball the other way. They take over at the Colorado 42.
The defensive scouting report is brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
All right, defensive scouting report, fellas. It's tackling. Tackling is going to be a big issue today for the Arizona Wildcats. Haven't done a good job tackling the last couple of weeks. Here's Jed Fish, cut 14, talking about working on it in practice.
Practice is always going to be about getting better and finding a way to improve in some of the areas where you struggle, as well as improve in the areas that you can continue to get better or that you're doing well. In that case, we were practicing as usual or typical fashion. Run game, pass lanes, run lanes, tackling. We emphasized tackling this week, added an extra period there, but a lot of it comes down to just execution, being fundamentally sound, and continuing to improve in that area on all facets.
About 10 seconds.
That was our plan this week, and so far, Sunday's practice, Tuesday's practice, and Wednesday's practice have all been good on tape.
I don't even know what to say because it sounds like, well, we haven't been practicing this stuff, so now we're going to start practicing this stuff. And that doesn't sound very good. I think, there's got to be an emphasis on those type of things daily because that's running, blocking, and tackling is all part of the way things work.
Yeah, and again, that's an attitude you want to set early. That's something that you want to come out with that disposition that you're playing aggressive, and if anything, you want to have to turn the guys down. You don't want to have to turn the guys up. And that's something that I always say. I mean, I'd rather have guys be overly aggressive and doing too much, than having to try to, hey, well, we're going to have to try to turn up their aggression because a lot of time that's tough to do.
I had a boss who told me once, I'd rather have a guy that's going to run through a wall. It might be the wrong wall, but at least he's going to run through the wall, and it's my job to teach him which wall he's supposed to run through.
There it is.
It's plain and simple.
One of the things that we asked Johnny Nansen this week is he came out and he was very, very candid saying, listen, I got to coach these guys up. We got to do a better job. One of the things that Nansen talked about was simplifying things for people on the defensive side of the ball. And here's Johnny Nansen, cut 15.
I think it tells you the leadership that they have and that they trust in the scheme. The scheme is standing the test of time. I mean, has won a lot of championships. So it's so much me and my staff, teaching it the right way and make it simple for our guys and put our guys in place and make plays. It's nice that they say that, but, it's me. I got to make sure I coach better.
I mean, every good coach is going to say that. Anytime you're not going to put it on your college guys, it's not professional. So a coach is going to put it on himself. But at the end of the day, players make plays. Coaches put you in the position, but you have to make the play. So of course he's saying the right things. But as he say that, I look up and down this roster and I see a couple changes in second screen guys, and I'm looking to see in the game today is different guys going to be getting opportunities, and that's the true message that you send as a coach. You say, hey, if you're not getting the job done, I have to look down the roster to see if we have other guys that's willing to do it.
If your defense is so complex that you got to cut it back, why did you expand it in the first place? That's what I want to know. Hey, if you can only ride a skateboard, don't bring a bike to my house.
Because, again, we were just talking about how they just got here.
Right.
The defensive coordinator just got here. You're just putting in the defense.
This is a third defensive coordinator in 3 years.
Exactly. I mean, and so you still got the first defensive coordinator's, adjustments in your head, and you're trying to get them out. So it's just a thing. And you're changing philosophies. You went from a blitzing defense,
with Dr. Blitz, Don Brown,
Blitz defense, to a defense where it's the 5 DBs. So it's just one of those things where I think the guys and the coaches are still adjusting to each other.
Okay, well, here's more of a Johnny Nance at Cut 16 talking about, it's not the players' fault on the assignment issues, it's the coaching.
I don't think it's so much the players, more like assignments. When we went back and we broke down the 15 plays, it was like, guys should have been at a certain position. It just seemed like their eyes weren't, was nowhere near where they needed to be. There are certain keys that you need to key. Well, obviously, guys are not in place. So obviously it start with me. Make sure that we make it clear. But I don't think it's a personnel type of deal.
That's a good coach, man. I love coaches that deflect the attention off of the players. That's great. But at the end of the day, the players are on the field, and they got to make a play. I mean, there was several times guys was right there, and they could have made a tackle, and they just took the wrong angle or went too low or something like that. I mean, we know the one time where they had the guy basically wrapped up, and they let him,
Ott was stopped forward progress.
Stop.
And I asked Jed about that. And they said, every crew's going to call it differently. Some are going to stop it early. Some just depends on how they interpret it. But you got to play through the whistle.
Yeah, and you don't exactly right there, Rich. I don't wait for nobody to, as a player, you don't wait for somebody to save you. Right, you don't wait for the referees to save you or blow the whistle or you wish you woulda, coulda, shoulda. You take care of that business right there. I'm taking that guy down.
I kind of look at it like boxing, right? Defend yourself at all times.
At all times, right there. I mean, you can't be waiting for a whistle. I mean, a whistle. If anything, I'm waiting for the 5th whistle because I told you you have to play a little across the line. This is a big boy game right here. This is not a game where you can come out there and just think that, if I just do the right thing, it's all going to work out. No, it ain't. No, it ain't, because there's some guys out there with some attitudes that like, you know what, I'm never going to let you win.
Football is one of the last sports that you can prove your point.
Yeah.
100%.
Love it.
In boxing, when I knock you out, my point is proved.
Right.
So you don't say, well, my training was up. Well, training had nothing to do with that right cross.
Of me catching you flush.
That's it. You have to prove your point. It's one of the few sports that is left, and that's the great thing about football because I tell you what, it definitely separates the men from the boys, and the problem that I'm having with what these comments are saying is that they're acting like this is everybody's first year. This is the players' first year.
Right.
This is the coach's first year. These people have been playing football since they're 8, 9, 10 years old. So you got 10 years of experience, and you don't know to play through the whistle? Help me.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. All right, let's go back a little bit about the gap defenses because we talked about this in the first hour when we heard comments from our coach, Al Borges, who helps us out here on 1290 with some of the X's and O's. Johnny Nansen did talk about what the assignments are for the defense for the University of Arizona. Here's Johnny Nansen.
The defense is assigned. Everybody's got a gap they're assigned to. So when a guy's not in there, like we're running a stunt, a guy's supposed to be in the B gap, he's not in the B gap. That's what that meant. Or a guy's supposed to be in the A gap, but he's swimming and getting hatted and be in the B gap instead of the A gap. Those things. Or we call a pressure, you're supposed to be in a certain gap, and guys are not in that gap. That's what that means. And like I said, those are correct, the things we can correct.
They are things that are very correctable, but the thing that I don't hear anybody saying, where is the want to? Where is the want to?
The want to do this.
I want to stop this back, regardless of what it takes. That's what I want to see. Nobody is really stepping up to the plate saying, you know what, whatever it takes on this next play, if it's within my power, I'm going to get it done.
Here's more Johnny Nansen talking about guys trying to do too much or being in the wrong spot.
I've been, battling for the last couple of days. We're putting too much, on them, weekly. You got to remember, we get 20 hours. There's 11 personnel they got to deal with. There's 12 personnels. There are 13s. There are different packages, and everything has a different assignment to it. So my job is to try and eliminate some of that thinking so they can play faster.
Yeah, of course. You don't want players out there thinking, you want them reacting. I mean, because if you're thinking, that gives that other guy a chance to already be doing, what you're trying to think about. And so that's why the better prepared teams always come out, and it seems like they have an aggression and an attitude that they play with because they already know what to do. I don't know what else he could do besides get games in and find out who your guys are because, again, it's only been four games.
Right.
So only you can do, because you know how it is. You had no practice heroes, and guys look great in practice, but you get in the game, it don't look the same. You're still trying to figure out everything. That's just where they're at right now.
Well, I think the other thing is you've had X amount of weeks of practice. You should know something about these players.
Well, let me say this. But like I know, you may know that I can't do this and I can't do that, right?
Let me put it to you like this. If you were a poor short yardage runner, they're not going to have you in on short yardage. Boom. And, I mean, you had like 1,000 touchdowns per season because you were a good short yardage runner.
Right.
But if you couldn't do that,
nah,
they're not going to say, hey, you know what? He can't do it, but throw him in there. No, that's not going to happen. The thing I'm saying is that he's taking the blame, which is cool and understandable, but the players aren't comfortable for some reason about something. That's what I'm seeing. I'm hearing. They're not they're not given enough credit to have the intelligence to make a thing. Well, we're coaching. We need to cut back, and we're coaching incorrectly. I'm like, well, hold on, bro. You've been coaching this way all your life, and now this special group of backers, all of a sudden, they don't know how to do what you're trying to say. Are you telling me that there's a flaw in your coaching? Are you telling me that the players are just a little slower than other players? Yeah. Which one? It got to be one or the other.
Got to be one or the other, right? Absolutely. All right, one last thing for the defense. Jackson Turner is going to be out for this game. Isaiah Taylor is going to get a big opportunity today to step up against Colorado. Here's Jed Fish.
Isaiah, I think he had 9 tackles in the Cal game. He's active. He was very active all training camp. Thought he made a lot of great plays for us in training camp. And continues to show ways to be around the ball. He has a really good feel for the ball. He's communicating better and better. The more confident he gets, being able to make calls. The big thing about safeties are they're the communicators on the back end. And so Isaiah's done a really nice job there. And then also Isaiah is going to
10 seconds.
And guys like playing with him and being around him. So if Jackson can't go on Saturday evening, then Isaiah will go, and there's a lot of confidence there with our players and with Isaiah.
Yeah, that's a big blow. Jackson Turner's been playing well. He's a veteran on his team. He's been around there. That's the one, stability, the stabilizing presence that you've had on this team. But, again, Taylor has been making plays. He's been back there doing a good job. So, hey, he get his chance. The next guy up. We always talk about that. Next guy up. What Wildcat is going to make a play is going to have to be Taylor today.
And what made him second team? That's what I want to know. Because everything you said, he should damn near get drafted tomorrow.
Right.
So, if he was all that, why is he second team? What's
your Turner been playing well?
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, if he's all what you're saying, what makes the starter better than him? That's all I'm saying.
Right.
This is your opportunity to step up and do this.
Yeah,
what about for young guys? Talk to me about this. Young guys getting an opportunity, next man up, not to make the moment too big, not to make the moment too small.
It's tough. I mean, the one thing that you have on your side is that you have the experience of that you have played in the games. You're not the starter, but you've been in and you've played some starter minutes. You've had starter plays against #1 defenses, so you're not coming in surprised. I mean, you're coming in with a level of experience. I mean, that was one of the things Coach was talking about with the 9 tackles that he had against Cal. He should be able to come out and perform today against Colorado.
I'm telling you right now, one of the major things, and when you're a backup and you become a starter or a player, I should say, not only is that your chance, it's your chance to prove the point that you've been saying all to yourself all your life.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I can play college football. I can play in the NFL. I can play whatever. You got to prove that to yourself. So when you get out there and you finally get that chance, you'll know. Because there's a lot of people that think they're college football ready, and then they get up here and they're playing against all the really college football when they find out, you know what, I'm really not as good as I thought.
Well, we'll see him today. This is the St. Thomas Aquinas kid. We'll get him to see as he steps up, and he'll get a more prominent role with the Cats today.
You know, from Pop Warner, every play was a sweep because you outrun everybody.
Right.
And then as you get older, you can't outrun everybody, so you got to cut back. You got to hit it in the hole. So that's what happens. You get here and you say, well, you know, I was 300 pounds in high school and going against 200-pounders. That's why I got 400 sacks.
Right.
Now everybody's 300 pounds and can play, and I don't even get near the quarterback unless it's in the locker room.
Right.
You notice I threw out Florida football instead of going California, Texas.
Right.
I just want to point that out.
They threw out Florida.
Yeah, I just threw out Florida right there because we
there.
both agree there's players in Florida, right?
No, hey, it's
There's a
baller,
few.
certified.
Yeah, there you go.
Certified.
All right, coming up, we have more as we count down to our kickoff. Arizona will take on Colorado. 6:30 will be the kick. We're going to be on the air with you till 5. We'll turn it over to Brian Jeffries and the Learfield crew, and then we'll get you right up till 6:30 after the ball game. We'll have a full recap for you after the ball game with highlights as well. That's a look at our defensive spotlight.
That's the Wildcats Defensive Scouting Report. The Defensive Scouting Report is brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
All right, we continue with you here from the University of Arizona. We're at the mall right out here on University and Campbell.
Yeah,
right? Next to the big tweezers.
Oh yeah.
Next to big tweezers. All right, we're gonna get Byron. He's gonna call in just a second. So let's take a quick time out. We'll come back. Byron Evans joins us for the players only meeting next here on 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame
Perfect
show
timing.
on Wildcats Radio 1290. Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Coloco. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Coloco, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Coloco, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Coloco, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the 3, blocked again by Coloco. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Coloco, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Coloco, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the 3, blocked again by Coloco. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments for the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down. That was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
tied.
Huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berrios. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Straight back to throw. Has some time. Steps up in the pocket. The Wildcats have got him for a safety. Second safety Arizona has recorded this season. It's a 24-12 ball game, and the Cats will get the ball.
That's big.
Pulling on the field is a safety.
Yes, that's big time by Arizona. That time defense did a great job of just closing the pocket from the inside, and then the pressure on the outside by Abear. They just got him. They just got there. They won their blocks that time. Excellent job by Arizona defense and really changing the momentum of this game.
Through now, tell me, what is it about coming to Arizona and being a linebacker that not just drew you here, but made it to where it's a staple of that's the position to play when you come to Arizona?
I think because of the type of the defense that we had. Under Coach Smith, and then Dick Tomey, and then after that, I think the linebackers just arose. From Lance Briggs to Ricky Hundley, Glenn Perkins. I put Glenn Perkins in there.
Right.
Guys did a heck of a job to Ted Bruschi. I know he was a defensive lineman, but just linebackers. That's pretty much what they've been known for. But now, just get back to it, man. I think if you find the type of athlete and run the type of system, you can get the pretty good results from what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. So tell us about your being recruited by Arizona. How did that shape up?
I think how that came about is that I wasn't really highly recruited. Not being highly recruited, but I was a pretty good athlete. I know And a lot of times it's not about the position. It's just about the athlete. You know, you've been a pretty good athlete, man. You can develop into pretty much a pretty good player, and that's pretty much what I was. You know, I was undersized. I didn't weigh very much. You know, I had a few too many sisters and brothers, but I wouldn't change that. And just putting on weight, getting stronger, and then just and coming there and then flourish. And they allowed me to flourish. So that's how that all came about.
Because you were, if I'm not mistaken, all city in basketball and football, and a lot of people don't know that you played quarterback in high school.
Yeah, well, we only had 30 players. When you got 30 players, you tend to play both ways, you know. So it just, you know, like I said, just being an athlete, man. And I developed and began to put weight on and begin to, you know, get stronger and faster and bigger, and then everything else just kind of, you know, formed into shape what I needed to do.
Well, that's a strange combination, though, quarterback and linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
You know that?
No, it's not, because if you're a player, you know, you can play football. You know, whether it's kicker, long snapper, or X or Y.
Well, that's a very good point, because I tell you, you by far was one of the best athletes that I've ever been around, and we had some of the great ones. I mean, you're a great basketball player. You even played.
Don't forget the kickball now.
Kickball and volleyball. So, but
there it is.
I'm still the marble champ, though, at the U of A. The marble champ.
Well, I know that, because you always carry an extra marble.
So, I tell you. So, let me ask you this: what about high school football? Are there a lot of different transitions going on with high school football in order for some of these kids to get an opportunity to play in college?
Yeah, yes and no, man. I mean, that transfer portal has put a lot of hold on really what the high school is doing. And, you know, you still got very good high school athletes, you know, but they kind of getting overlooked because of this transfer portal and all this and all that, and kind of put a damper on things, man. And then it's made recruiting, you know, pretty tough, I think.
Well, I'm a firm believer that I don't have a problem with the transfer portal, but you can only transfer portal one time, not 15, 16 times. And, you know, everywhere you go, the coaches hate you or whatever it may be. I think if you're going to transfer one time, and then that's all you can do. That's the way I would do the whole thing, because I'm telling you, we've got people that transfer to 2-3 different schools. All, you know, the coach hated me.
But I'll say this, though, Dave, we've benefited from that, you know, here at Arizona. And you know what? You think about it. We always have had a little bit of that, whether it be a guy coming from JUCO or a guy, you know, transferring in from another school. You know, I understand where you're coming from about the portal. I think it's more the COVID year that's really throw guys, because guys have got an extra year. I think that's more of what it is. But, you know, if you don't believe in me and you don't believe in what I got going on at my school, I don't mind you going somewhere else and, you know, and see, you know, what they got going on, because you have to believe where you at for it to work.
Well, I agree with you, but still, just one time. That's all I'm saying. There's some athletes that got transferred 3 or 4 different times.
Yeah.
3 or 4 different. I mean, come on. How many coaches can just hate you?
Dude, don't be so harsh on the boy.
That's all I'm saying. You can't tell me that everywhere you go, the coaches hate you.
You got 4 years to play 5, man. Whatever you can do, you got 4 years to play 5.
And
Make
it's
the
5
most
years,
of it.
and that 5 years starts your graduation year.
Yes, sir.
I don't need nobody 45 out there. Well, I used up my eligibility, and I can do that.
Well, they're trying to find the perfect fit, man.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and I don't believe there's a perfect fit. I think you make the perfect fit.
Ooh, that's it.
Well, let me ask you this: what do you feel about U of A's head coach? You feel he's doing a good job, or?
Yeah, I think he's doing a good job. I think he's doing a good job. But I know it's still out. The jury's still out. I know, you know, 1 year, you need more than 1 year to get this thing going, or 2 years to get this thing going. And, you know, you need time. And not only you need time, you need players, man. No matter if they bring the great Phil Jackson in. You need players, man. You got to get players.
Byron, this is Kelvin E. fun. So you're going to need some Byron Evans and some Hunleys and some David Adams, guys that came in and made a name for himself, guys that want to make a name for themselves. That's what you're going to need at the end of the day because, again, I keep bringing this up. Coach Tomey used to always say, it's about the Jims and the Joes. I mean, you can make any play work if you believe in the coach. Not necessarily the play, but in the coach and in what y'all trying to get done. And so that's what I always say. It's the guys that you're handing the ball to, and it's the guys that's, job responsible for taking them down.
No doubt. No doubt.
And I think one of the things that I've always appreciated from being a Wildcat was the fact that the defenses that I've played with and for after that, they were always in the top 5-10 in the country of making things happen.
Yeah.
As of late, they may be in the bottom 5-10 in the country, but I'm telling you, back in those days, it was always seemed like if we could just get the offense to catch up with the defense type of talk. It was very tough, but we've done a great job of recruiting defensive players. And let me ask you this. Your top 5 Arizona linebackers, who would they be?
Top 5 Arizona linebackers.
That's
tough. Ricky Hunley.
Well, okay.
Got to start there.
Glenn Perkins.
Of course.
Lamont Hunley. And the Bears was Lance Briggs.
Lance, yeah.
There it is.
Oh,
There it
okay.
is.
Okay, so you named 4, so that automatically puts you in there. And I'm down with that.
No, they don't automatically put me in there.
Well, you only named 4, so that left one position open. So
and Sean Harris.
Sean Harris.
Wow.
There it is.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, that was a good crew, but I'll throw you in there because I tell you, none of them could beat you at some basketball. So I think.
Well, don't forget the kickball.
Well, and you were the kickball champion, I remember. And if I'm not mistaken, you were the frisbee throwing champ as well.
No, I was runner-up. Runner-up with the frisbee.
Oh, man, this has been fun. Byron Evans has been our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Byron, bear down, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to talk to you again real soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's our players-only meeting for today. That's been awesome. All right, hey, we're getting closer and closer to sending it inside the stadium. Brian Jeffries will have the play-by-play action for you coming up at 6:30. Till then, it's us right out here on the mall on the corner of University and Campbell. We invite you to stop by, say hi. We got Brother John's barbecue, beer, bourbon, and barbecue just delivered. I'm going to keep talking so I make sure that I get my plate over here. Nobody else tries to grab it. We have much more coming up. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you in part.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the 3, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it and tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Coloco, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Coloco, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Coloco. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Coloco. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Coloco, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Coloco looked like one driving down. That was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Coloco screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Coloco. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
tied.
A huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berrios. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball, he underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Straight back to throw. Has some time. Steps into the pocket. The Wildcats have got him for a safety. Second safety Arizona has recorded this season. It's a 24-12 ball game, and the Cats will get the ball.
That's big
time. On the field is a safety.
Yes. That's big time by Arizona. That time defense did a great job of just closing the pocket from the inside, and then the pressure on the outside by Abear. They just got him. They just got there. They won their blocks that time. Excellent job by Arizona defense and really changing the momentum of this game.
All right, pest of the game. I'm going to turn this over to Kelvin Efon.
Man, my pest of the game, man, is big number 54, 6'7", 290 pounds, Terrence Lang on the defensive side of the ball. He's just a big, aggressive guy that sets the edge. Our guys going to have to do a good job knocking him off his point. Offensively, I mean, it's all going with the freshman over there, Owen McCowen. I mean,
Cade
McCowan's son. I mean, they're running it through him. So I think our defense need to go out there and put some on his mind so he don't feel easy out there.
Let's talk a little bit more about Cade McNowen, the quarterback. They came into the season, much like Arizona last year, with a quarterback tandem. And they were trying to figure out who their quarterback was going to be. They came in with 1-2 quarterbacks. They were competing for the starting job. then neither one of them really established themselves. So all of a sudden, Owen Mcnowen, the quarterback in waiting, so to speak, the son of Cade Mcnowen, has an opportunity to step up, and he moved into the game last week against UCLA. We'll start this week against Arizona. Here's Carl Durrell talking about his new quarterback, Owen Mcnowen.
He's kind of learned the full offense, Adam. He came in June, and yes, he was behind the 8 ball with not knowing much, but, he's a fast learner. He understands concepts. I think it's, his own background and training, from his high school, even before high school years of being around the game. He's seen a lot of stuff, so it probably was more just getting familiar with how we call things with things that he's seen that, might have been called differently, with other places he's been. So I think he was able to really accelerate his learning with just because of familiarity with concepts. And I think he just had to really how we call it, is really the difference. So it's really just understanding the definition of these concepts and anything. So his transition was actually pretty quick. That was why he was able to kind of climb quickly through the depth chart and be in, the third position, and we're in training camp. So he kind of, over the summer, really accelerated his learning to catch up.
All right, the freshman comes in. Give me some of the things that you think about when you're playing a freshman.
Some of the things you think about when you're playing a freshman is that you want to put a little pressure on him. You want to show him a couple looks that, he haven't seen. He hasn't had a lot of times playing out there, so you want to go out there and just make him uncomfortable. You don't want to let him settle in and get going, because then, you can end up in trouble.
One of the things to look at is Colorado trying to get their offense going. Very anemic in the first quarter, very anemic coming out of the second half. Carl Durrell talked about that this young man gives them an opportunity to get a spark.
We're trying to create a better production offensively with efficiency, execution, performance. He gives us a little bit of a spark to do those things. I think the players like his courageousness when he plays. He does a lot of things with his feet. He tries to make plays, off schedule. So those are things that I think a lot of players, his teammates, really gravitate to. So we're just going to continue to build his skill set. He's different. Obviously, the ball comes out differently. He's left-handed. He's not right-handed. So there's just a lot of things that, offensively we can kind of adapt to helping him with him because he's a left-handed player.
I think one of the key things you want to do, anytime you're facing somebody that's new at something, is let them know the difference between where they were and where they're at now. If you're a rookie in the NFL, you need to let him know this isn't college anymore. And if you're in college and a high school guy comes in, this isn't high school anymore. And same all the way, whatever profession it is, you need that person to know. There is a difference when you step up a level of anything.
There you go. All right, that's the Pest of the Game today, brought to you by University Pest Control.
That's our Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. BePestFree.com.
All right, let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown. What else is coming up on our pregame show today?
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show, brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, coming up on the pregame show next is going to be the Captain's Corner. Who's going to be your guest?
Hey, today we got none other than the great Chuck Levy, Mr. Kill Miami, one of the guys when I was back home in Texas, watching, thinking, could I play basketball and football at Arizona? When I seen Chuck take off right there against Miami, I scratched Miami off my list.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Miami off my list.
But where's he from?
Ooh, Chuck. I know he's from Cali for sure.
Oh, no, I just want to make sure you
Cali.
You didn't give me that. You didn't give me that.
I'm thinking you going. I know. I should have known you was going there. I should have known you was going there.
Linwood Knights,
Cali
man.
boys always, stick together.
That's right. All right, so Chuck will be joining us here in just a minute. Then we'll have the keys to the game, and we'll have the spread of the game as well. So all that's coming up as we get you ready for Arizona taking on the Colorado Buffalo coming up at 6:30. We'll continue with you. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats.
Well,
Wildcats
here's what I
Radio
said, man. They
1290.
said, you got Chuck there. I said, can I just hang around with him? And then they handed me a headset. I'm like, okay.
bummed. What's up? I'm looking at pics of when I first laid eyes on her. How she was beautiful. Now look at her.
Have you eaten today, Chuck?
Hideous. Dude, call Recon Auto Detailing. They'll get her
Yeah, I try anything.
Recon Auto Detailing is Arizona's premier auto detailing company. We'll come to you and do a basic
1 2
cleaning
1 2
or a jaw-dropping
1 2.
full detail, including a ceramic finish. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Classy Closets is under new management, but what you really
Okay.
need to know is
I
they're
can't
still
eat and
proudly
talk at the
serving
same time.
Tucson and Southern.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the board. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
1290, brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, as we count down to Arizona taking on the Colorado Buffaloes. Arizona comes in with a mark of 2-2. Colorado looking for their first win of the season. My name is Rich Herrera, along with the captain, Kelvin Efon, and Sweet D, David Adams, filling in for Glenn Howe. It's time for the Captain's Corner. We're going to bring in our captain, Kelvin Efon, as they talk about the ball game, along with Chuck Levy here on 1290.
Gather up, Wildcats fans. It's time to hear from our captain. It's time for our pregame speech. Here is the captain, Kelvin Efon.
All right. We got Linwood's finest in here, Chuck Levy. A great player here at the University of Arizona. Ended up drafted to the Arizona Cardinals. Played in the NFL for a while. First things first, Chuck. What you been up to, brother?
Oh man, just taking care of business, living life. I live in Phoenix these days. Got kids, got grandkids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They keep me busy, and that's about it.
Yes, sir. So one of the things I always like to ask everybody is who recruited you here? What high school did you play for?
So I went to Linwood High School, and it's funny. Pat Hill was recruiting me. Everybody, legendary offensive line coach, was at Fresno State for 20 years. So he's actually recruiting me from Fresno State, and then he got the job here. So one day he was there for Fresno State. The very next weekend he was there for the University of Arizona. I'm like, dude, are you chasing me around? He's like, look, you was one of my top guys there. You're one of my top guys here. I came out. I liked the program. Liked what I saw. Never left.
Man, so you were a high school quarterback?
Quarterback, played safety. You know how it is when you're the best player on the team. You do multiple things, whatever it takes to win at that point in time. So you play quarterback, safety, a little bit of whatever it takes to win, like I said. Punt, kickoff, return, it doesn't matter.
Athlete.
Doesn't matter.
Athlete doing whatever it takes. Man, you were here doing that Desert Swarm when they was first really getting a name for themselves with the Brewskis and the Sanders and the Harris and them boys. How was it, basically being the big top offensive threat, and how was it playing with those guys and practice against those guys every day?
I mean, those guys always brought it. They were always in the right spot. They always made the correct read to get you to the right spot in order to make the right play. And if you look at it, it was like a link in a chain. You know what I'm saying? This guy steps this way, this guy fills the hole, there's no open spots, all of a sudden they converging on the ball. And it was like that in practice, and they took it to the field. And you saw in their play how, like they said, they would swarm on the ball, and that's literally what happened. And they would try to do it to me in practice, but unfortunately, I found a way to get around it.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, and I could tell because in that big game against Miami, that defense was known for swarming. Jesse Armstead was on that team still.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse was a big Dallas. Here we go.
Right,
Dallas
right.
Carter High School, famous Carter High School. So he was a big guy that I looked up to growing up. And I saw, these guys go out there and demolish him like that. I was just like, that was just crazy. So I knew that you had to be going against that defense every day at practice, and that had to be the toughest competition you were seeing, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, man. We had SC had Willie McGinnis. We had some others. Washington always had a great defense, but our guys at practice was probably the best defense I played against personally on a day in, day out basis. From the defensive front to the line to the secondary to the linebackers. We had a great group at each level that complemented each other.
And I want to talk about a little bit about that because we've been, kind of struggling, and we've been through a few defensive coordinators in the last few years. I feel like defense is in just that defensive type of mentality. It's just Arizona trademark. I'm an offensive guy, you offensive guy, you offensive guy. But reality is, Tucson, Arizona, that was our trademark, our defense. What was it about those guys? I mean, what was it special? Because they wasn't highly recruited guys.
I mean, none of those guys were highly recruited, but they bought into the defense. And like you said, our school has been known for defense since its inception, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to kill you with no offensive threats. DA can tell you that. He was here before me. I was here after him. We were probably the biggest offensive threat they had. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? At the time. So and knowing that, another defense can focus in on you. However, we found a way to make some plays and get us to a few bowl games and get us some wins. So, for the most part, we hung our hat on our defense and just played the offense pretty much not to lose. But you still got to score some points.
Right. No, especially. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a fan of very many people, but I'm a Chuck Levy fan. He's one of the few people that, in the history of Arizona, while I've been alive, and I've had family members that played here in the 70s, I would pay to come and see him play because he was just an outstanding athlete. And now that we're older, we can really tell the truth about how good we really were. So that always helps because back in the day, you're trying to play the game. Well, I tried my best in the offensive line, blah, blah, blah. And now we can take, he says, I had 300 yards in one game, and I'm like, well, that's nothing because I had 400 yards at half. So we can have that competition going.
We can go back and forth. Yeah.
He's a phenomenal athlete. He always was. And I like the fact that he said, when you were the best player on the team, you played every position. Yeah. And that's why he ended up here at Arizona, because he was the best player on his high school team and came here, and it just transferred over. Arizona's team, as far as offensively is concerned, Because after high school, they really break it up.
Right.
The best defensive player, the best offensive player.
Well, fun fact, Rich.
Yeah.
He was the highest rated drafted offensive player in Arizona history until 1999 when Dennis Northcutt and Trung got drafted last pick of the first round and first pick of the second round. He was the highest.
Yeah.
Number uno in the history of Arizona, man. I mean, and you know, I got another one. I was at the Raiders. And Zach Crockett, Zach Crockett gets injured in a special teams practice.
Right.
The coach, Skip Pete, comes up to me and say, "Hey man,
Skip Pete from Tucson.
Yeah, Skip Pete from Tucson.
Rodney's dad.
Right. Yeah. He comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, you're up, man. Hey, this is what we've been talking about. There's not going to be a practice squad. You know, hey, you're on the team. You know." And I turn around and look. It was 10 running backs there. We're in Napa Valley, and I see Chuck. And I saw Chuck, and I knew exactly who he was. I didn't expect him to know who I am. He's been playing in the NFL, you know, taking care of his business. And so, but he was there, and I'm off in the shadows like, man, he's finna take my job. you know, because I'm already knowing who he is. Man. You know, I mean, I knew he kind of played a different spot, but I remember him coming out there. But they had Earnhead Hayward. They brought in Rashawn Salam, you know, all because one guy got hurt. Al Davis, you know, just brought everybody.
And 10 guys to fill one hole.
Yeah, that was the last time I had seen Chuck in a while, man. But that was, you know, I remember that, man, vividly. Napa Valley, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Coming to that practice.
You know, and again, I'm looking over at our friend Paul from Phoenix who rode down to the Wildcat Express. This has got to be his dream. I got David Adams, I got Kelvin Efon, and I got Chuck Levy. He knows more Arizona football than just about anybody else out there remembers all this. So let me ask, since I have the three iconic running backs for this program, talk to me about what you see with the running backs right now, Chuck, with the stable of what we have in the running game for Arizona.
Well, from watching the games, man, I see that we have each one of these guys are very dynamic in their own right? We got a couple guys that run with power, a couple guys run with speed, you know, and the play calling has to use that and mix it up a little bit. And having said that, you know, some of those guys run through tackles and some of the guys run around tackles. And, you know, you just got to be able to use your God-given talents.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I would love to see a couple of those guys on the field at the same time.
Yes.
You know, sometimes, you know, in sets, because I think it just drives defenses crazy when they see, you know, 3 tight end sets, 2 running back sets, when they're used to seeing, you know, 1 guy on the field.
Right.
I think these guys are dynamic enough to use them in different, you know, positions, and to put their abilities on the field together.
I like to see a running back get tired. What I mean by that is give him the ball 20, 25 times and see what he can do. These backs, you get 5 carries, you get 5 carries, 10 carries, and then you kicking it for the rest of the game. I haven't checked, but I don't even know if they break a sweat because they don't get the ball. That's my thing. You got to get the ball to make things happen.
Oh, no, listen, they got to commit to the running game today.
Yeah.
They got to commit to the running game.
But they'll commit to the running game, but they'll take 10 people and give them 3 carries apiece.
I got to get them to commit first and then get a little bit deeper in that.
Please.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
I ain't mad at you, bro.
Let's commit to the run, and then like he said.
I agree with you 100%. I know I would be fuming if you know, a whole game go by and you
we've
get 10
always
carries.
shared the ball with our running backs. We've always had a stable of running backs.
Yes.
There's never been a running back here that I can recall except for Trung, and that's the reason why he got so many yards, right?
Well, he actually split them because he lost a lot of yards to me. Because I played with him during the time, and I had 1,500. So them could have been some of his yards. And I know I took a lot of his touchdowns. I took a lot of those.
But you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We never have been, you know, one of those teams that we don't get a guy
Antoine
20
Carter.
balls.
Antoine Carter.
Even with him.
Chuck, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Chuck, because you're sitting here. I'm sitting here with a stable of iconic running backs that their names are littered throughout the history book of the University of Arizona. Talk to me about just the running back position and what it means to be an Arizona Wildcat running back when you got, you know, David Adams sitting here with me. I got Kelvin Efon. I have the history that you have and everybody that's come before and after.
I mean, the history of the Arizona running back is this. Explosive plays. You're gonna block your ass off. And you're going to make every play when it's time to make the play, right? We all know you're not going to get the ball very many opportunities. So when you have that opportunity to make that play, to split that tackle, to split that hole, and make that you got to do it.
Yeah, and during my time, Rich, it was, we had Trunk, and he was the guy who was a home run hitter. I was more that guy. I was out there, trying to set a physical presence out there. I was out there trying to make the defense understand that, they had somebody that they was going to have to deal with on a consistent basis. On the short yardage, they knew it was over. I was going to get it. And if it was anywhere around the goal line, if I had to jump over them, run around them, or go underneath them, it was going to get done.
Well, my job was a little different because I don't know what game Chuck was watching because they gave me the ball. No, they didn't say block.
No.
So I'd get the ball 20, 25 times. And the thing about it was, for me, if they said we're going to pass a lot this week, so we're going to deviate from the run game, all that meant was the other guys weren't going to get a lot of carries, but I was. So if we ran 60 plays, we may have 40 passes, but we have 20 running plays, and 19.5 of them was coming this way. And that's all I know. And I was just like, hey, I loved it because I could get a feel for the game. You're absolutely right. We had to make plays because nobody thought that we were college running backs coming out of high school. We were just good athletes. And for me, not being the prototype, I didn't play for 2 years, and everybody in Tucson said, see, we told you. So, Chuck came out of high school, and he had like 40 carries while he was still in high school for the U of A.
I know this is the captain's corner, but I got the three of you here, so I got to ask a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck, we'll start with you. Who took you under your wing? Who took you under their wing when you got here to the University of Arizona, and then who did you pay it forward to in the running back room?
So you forget I played quarterback. So when I got here, George Malou took me under my wing, took me under his wing. Showed me the ropes, took me around, showed me Tucson, where to go, where not to go, things of that nature. And I would say I probably passed that down to not another running back, but maybe rest in peace, Jim Hoffman.
Wow.
Because he was a late recruit.
Right.
We hosted him, end up making the plays and being a guy.
Kelvin?
Big man.
Who took you under their wing, and who did you pay it forward to?
Oh, man, so I came in as a basketball player.
Right.
So when I came onto the football team, I was solo. I didn't really have a class. I was all by myself.
Right.
I was all by myself,
And
man.
they looked like, who's this guy?
Yeah, they knew me from around campus, from the basketball and playing at the rec centers and different things. But football-wise, they like, hey, who is this?
Right.
So I feel like that Coach Tomey.
Okay.
I feel like Coach Tomey took Coach Hammersmith. He was one of the guys that, really was pushing me, seeing me in the hallway, said, man, you could be a starting cornerback. You could be a starting running back when I was on the basketball team. So I'll say Coach Tomey, man, because he took me under his wing, and they gave me an opportunity to get out on the field, man, and I just tried to make the most of it.
Then who did you take under your wing and played forward?
Man, every running back that came after me. I mean,
Okay.
that was my thing, man. Leadership, leading, trying to point guys in the right direction and, doing what's best for the program. I always thought that if the program won, you would be remembered. I wasn't a 1,000-yard runner, like these guys. You know what I mean? I was like 500, 450 a season or whatever. But my impact, the leadership, the plays that I did make, is what, got me remembered.
David?
Mine is a little bit different because I was from Tucson.
Right.
So nobody was going to show me where to go and all this kind of stuff because I already knew. And because I came in and from town, we'd have a running back meeting, and I told everybody the first day that to be prepared not to play anymore because I'm here. And I know you guys think I'm joking. But
I love this.
I believe
I
you.
told
I
them.
know you.
Totally
Yes.
him.
I know
That is
you.
totally him.
Listen,
I know you.
when I get tired, you guys can come in. And you know what? I never get tired. So that's how I came in. So nobody really took me on. Everybody wanted to show me that I wasn't nothing. Because, I'm 170 pounds. And they're like, man, you better be glad if you even play. And they were right for 2 years. But what happened is I just had to have confidence in myself because I'm not the prototype.
Right.
And I'm really not the prototype. So you really had to have a lot of confidence in yourself. But I was willing to help anybody and everybody. But the person I spent the most time with was James DeBow. James DeBow was a phenomenal player. He had the play of the game against ASU, not Chuck Cecil's return for a touchdown. James DeBow stopped him on the 1-inch yard line, and then if you're watching the film of the game, he stopped him on the 1-inch yard line, The offense came out. We had about 8 or 9 offensive plays that were all to me that got cut out somehow. I don't know how, but they got cut out.
Haters.
They were dumping the ball to me because we were trying to waste time, and then we kicked it, and then Chuck had this run around. So it was James DeBow, the one person that I helped out the most.
All right, I got one more question. If you have anything else that you wanted to run through.
No, go ahead.
All right, so here's my last question. Chuck, who'd you play for? Who's your coach?
Dick Tomey.
Okay. You played for Dick Tomey.
Yes, sir.
You played for my dear friend Larry Smith.
Yes.
Talk to me about the legacy of Coach Tomey. Because we
man.
hear Kelvin talk about it. We have all the players. Talk to me about what
See,
our special
I could
coach.
give you so many. There's so burn the boats. I remember there's so Dick used to chew gum and pull it.
Oh,
Dick used to he'll talk to you while he's doing it, and it's just automatic with him, right? But I would have a week. I was telling her on the way down, I'd have this weekly talk. You know, my senior year, well, my junior year, and everybody figured out what I was going to do. So he'd bring me in the office, had this weekly talk, and it was real endearing to me that he felt some type of way to share that time with me. You know, it's just away from not football related, but how are you doing?
As a person.
As a person. How are
Human
you
being.
doing? Yeah. A human being, down to earth. I'm not talking about football because I see you every day. I see what you're doing out there on the field. But how are you doing? How are you handling all of this? You know, what are you thinking about? What are your next step? You know what I'm saying? Where are you going to be 10 years from now? What are you going to do after this?
Wow.
You know, what's going to go on with you? You know, because everybody knew I was making the next step. And he knew it. He knew it before I did. Mm-hmm. You know, he knew before I did. So I appreciate that in him, just the human side of it. You know, it's just we're not a factory. This is not a football factory at all. There is some human sides to these stories, and that's what Dick brought to me.
Yeah, how was it with the first time when he told you he loved you? You know, 'cause
Yeah.
you know, coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's one thing, man. I've never had a coach tell me that.
Really?
I had some great coach. Never.
And he grip you right there on your
Oh,
shoulder.
man.
And he grip you on the
man.
shoulder real tight. He's like, dude, that hurts.
Yeah, man. And, you know, you think he's a little guy,
right?
But one of the toughest little guys I ever met in my life. He'll be in a room full of 6'6" Samoans and big old dudes from Texas, and you know, guys that probably could rip him apart. And I never, do you hear me? I never seen him look. I can't even say the word intimidate because that's not the word. I've never seen him take a step backwards. I mean, man, Coach was a straightforward. I think he cared too much for the guys sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he would give guys chances after chances, and I appreciate some of the chances he gave me. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But
been there too.
he just, when I tell you, Coach was a loving guy that cared more about you as a human than as a team. That's real.
Right.
About football, he was a man. Go ahead.
You can go all day.
Man.
For Larry.
Larry Smith, what he showed me, he said, he pulled me in his office one day, and I was explaining to him. It's a funny story. I was explaining to him. I said, Coach, if you want to win all your games, I got to touch the ball 50 times.
Here we go. Here we go.
And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I said, listen, I don't need the carries. I mean, like 25 carries, 10 passes, 5 punts, 5 kickoff returns. 50.
God.
We'll win every game. And he said, get out of my office. So and I was like, but Coach, I'm trying to, you want to go undefeated. And he was like, he just started pointing towards the door. And from that day on, we got along fabulously. And the one thing he says, David, I just want you to know this. No matter what anybody else says, any other school and all these things, I believe in you. And that took me to a level of, it chokes you up now because you're 5'6", you're 165 coming out of high school. Yeah, you did a lot of things in high school, but there's a lot of small backs that do things in high school. But he believed in me enough to give me a scholarship, and it worked out very well for both of us.
I wish I could bottle the looks on all your faces, Chuck. When I asked you to talk about Coach Tomey, the look on your face of pride, of love, of just the relationship. I see it every time I ask you about Coach, and I know, David, you and I talked about Larry all the time, just what these gentlemen meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when you leave the inner city and you come to Tucson, Arizona, and it's a big culture shock, and you got really 1 or 2 people that you can go to because you don't know these other 105 guys on the team. At all. You don't know those guys. And they put your film on, and you run up and down the field, and everybody's like, who is that guy? They figure it out, and then everybody's scared all of a sudden. Well, the only person you can talk to is the coach. And and you become a young man here in the town, and you grow and you learn and you progress as a person, and that's what he wanted.
Right.
And that's what he fostered. The football was going to take care of itself. But if you don't foster a young man, if you don't foster these young teenagers becoming young men, becoming adults, it's not going to work.
And I'll say this, and Coach proved it, because it didn't matter if you was a walk-on, it didn't matter who you were, where you was from. It's one thing to say, you about giving different people from different backgrounds an opportunity. It's another thing when you see it with your eyes.
Right.
It make you believe. It make you believe in more than bigger. That's why we went 12-1.
Right.
They was 5-7.
Right.
My first year playing football. The first year I came out, I had missed a couple bowl games. I think they lost the Freedom Bowl, against Utah, I believe. But Coach told me never wavered, never blamed guys. He just hugged and grabbed everybody together, and he always said, "Stay together, stay together. Some Wildcat gonna make a play."
Right.
And that belief, man, permeated through the rest of the program, man. And I just feel like that, I don't think he get enough credit, for the things that he did around here.
Wow.
I think for me, which is maybe different for you two, because I don't know the answer to this. I came from a single parent family.
Right.
My mother knew nothing about football. She didn't like me playing football. My grandmother didn't like me playing football. Why they got to jump on you all the time? Why when you're on the ground do they keep piling on you? These are questions I get, and I got to explain. So she doesn't even understand what I'm doing. And I said, listen, when I pass that last line over there, just stand up and cheer. That's all you got to do. Any other time, just sit there and watch, because she didn't understand what was going on.
Right.
When I pass that last line, just stand up and cheer. And to have a man not related to you come and believe in you.
Yeah. Right.
Not only is he not related to you, he doesn't look like you either.
Yeah, different race. Let's say the real.
Boom.
Say the real.
Either.
Especially coming from where the inner city. When you come from
South
Dallas,
Dallas,
bro,
you ain't never seen.
You just to
don't
most
have them
people,
interactions.
To most of you, just another black guy.
Yeah.
Just another one that's kind of fast. And to have that belief in you, it's tremendous, and it was just
It'll
something.
take an average athlete and make him skyrocket.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
Without a doubt.
That's incredible. Chuck, are you okay on time?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do the keys to the game coming up. Will you hang out with us and tell us
Sure.
about the game, talk about what we're going to do next? I don't want Chuck to leave.
Oh, man.
I got three of the greatest running backs in the
Wildcat,
history of
baby.
the University of
Wildcat,
Arizona
baby.
sitting with me right now. We'll continue with you. Coming up next, we're going to get to the keys to the game, and we'll have the spread of the game all coming up as we get you ready for football. Arizona taking on Colorado right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bear down, Wildcats fans. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. It is good. Backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang Working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Coloco, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Coloco. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The Locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's hot! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, 3 have to go, steal by Coloco. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Coloco, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Coloco looked like one driving down that was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Coloco screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Coloco, feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline, circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot, 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away, good!
That's
We're
a
tied.
Huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points.
Well lived. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, we continue with you here from the mall. Tailgaters going strong today. I got my Brother John's barbecue ready to go.
John's.
I got 2 iconic running backs with me. I've got Sweet D David Adams, who's filling in for Glenn Howell today. And I've got, of course, the captain, Kelvin Ifan. Time for us to get down to the nitty-gritty of our broadcast for today. Time for us to talk about the keys to the game. By the way, Chuck is the honorary team captain today, so he was going to stay with us. Then all of a sudden, this golf cart comes up. Mr. Levy, we need you to come back onto the field. So he'll be helping lead the team out onto the field today as our honorary captain as Arizona takes on Colorado. But let's get to our keys to the game. They're brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group.
Wildcats fans, what are the big keys for today's game? Our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, keys to the game today. Kelvin Ifan, I'm going to let you get us started, my friend.
Well, my keys to the game until we, get that run established the way that I want it to be is I feel like we have to get that run established. I think we need at least 30 carries, 30 or more carries to be able to, have a successful game and to be able to set up our passing game. Defensively, stop the run. We have to stop the run. We have to tackle. I'm not coming off of those keys to the game until I see the improvement I'm looking for.
Sweet D.
I will co-sign to everything you said. I need them to set the precedent today that sends a message to everybody. We may be only won 3 games in the last 100 years, but when you come to play, we got something for you.
Okay, my keys to the game are going to be a little bit more complicated then because I know you're going to have that covered. Number 1, I need Jaden DeLora to play a clean game today. I need Jaden DeLora not to be put in a position where he's having to play hero ball late in the ball game. I want him to be able to pull the ball down. I want him to be able to advance the ball up the field, pick up 2, 3, 4 yards. But I don't want him in a position where the running game has kind of gone away and you're asking him to play in that more pro-style offense. I know this is a pro-style offense, but I still want to see some balance today to keep all the pressure off of Jaden DeLora. I think when Jaden DeLora throws the ball 30 times, I think we're pretty good. Anything more than that, I think you're pressing a little bit and you're asking him to do too much at this point in his career. So, number one, I want to see Jaden DeLora play a clean game. Number two, guys, Arizona's got to tackle for two reasons. Number one, this is the University of Arizona. This is the school that gave you Desert Swarm. This is a school where it's always been 2 stars playing like 5 stars because they play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and they are mean, and they are nasty, and they are blue-collar. They've got to get back to their roots today on defense, Kelvin.
Yeah, no, they got to. I mean, again, all you got to do is put on films from years past of Arizona football, and that'll give you enough, examples of what that play looked like.
You said it, Sweet D. Want to.
That's what it is. And when you have a history of greatness in a particular area, you got to keep that tradition going.
Got to keep that going. All right, so those are 2 of my keys to the game. The last thing I want to see for the University of Arizona, I want to see them take a punch. Colorado is a desperate team. Colorado's playing for their coach's future. They don't win this ball game, I'm not sure they're going to stay the same course with this coach. These kids have to play for their coach. They're a desperate team. Desperate teams come out and they start throwing haymakers because they're going to try to get Arizona back on their heels. Kelvin, you said it. You're the one who told me this week as they look through the schedule. Am I going to be able to beat USC? No. Am I going to be able to beat Utah? No. Am I going to be able to beat Washington? No. Oh, Arizona. That's a winnable game. They're going to come in here with a feeling like we can win this ball game. They're going to throw a punch, and Arizona needs to answer that punch back.
Yeah, they need to answer that punch. They need to dip up under it. They need to roll with the punch. They need to do whatever they have to do to be able to, come out. And really, Rich, they need to throw the first punch. You don't wait around and let people punch on you. You know what I'm saying?
Because you know what? Hey, if we're going to square up,
knocked out.
If we're going to bow up, we're going to square up. Who's the guy that you're really afraid of? The guy that stands there and goes, come on, let's go, and bows up on you? Or the guy who just walks up, doesn't say 2 words? Bam.
Yeah, no, you get off. The guy that get off first, because the guy that get off first.
By the way, I didn't mean to give you the alpha look right there.
Oh, no, we good. Hey, it don't bother me. Alpha. You know what I'm saying? Hey, because, I never have a problem.
Folks, I will just tell you this right now. There's a couple times when we've been talking during the game, and Kelvin gets his eyes about the size of saucers. He gets eyes get real big. He gets a look like he's near the goal line. It'll put the fear of God into some people.
Oh, man, I always get that, man. People say I had that look, when I'm getting into my competitive time.
Yes.
But, hey, it's just one of those things where you just lock it in,
I'm
man.
Too
business.
old for that anymore.
It's still there. It's still in there.
That and the thing about it is it carries over into every part of the life that you lead.
Yeah.
When you're an aggressive person and you don't take no mess, it'll carry over into your job. It'll carry over to your family. It'll carry over. You're setting the precedent of what you're going to be like in life for the rest of your life.
There you
that's
go.
What a lot of people don't understand. If you're soft now, you're going to be soft later.
Uh-oh.
Period.
All right. Those are the keys to the game. They're brought to you by Royal Automotive.
Our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different. The dealership that is different.
All right. We're getting closer and closer to sending it inside the stadium. Brian Jeffries, Lamont Lovett, and Dana Cooper will have all the action for you coming up here in just a bit. But it's time for us to also take a look at the best bet for today, brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino.
Tucson, what are today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of the best bets in football this weekend. Today's best bets are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Points is the spread. Arizona with the biggest spread that they're going to have this season against the hapless Colorado Buffalo. Can Arizona beat Colorado by 17.5, Kelvin?
Yeah, I think they can, man. Rich, I think I got this game 31-10. Arizona's been averaging about 31 points. They've been putting points on the board. And I think the defense has something to prove versus a very weak Colorado offense. Now, when I'm saying that, I don't like saying stuff like that because the captain in me. But in reality, this is what they've put out there for us to see. So Arizona should be able to shut these guys down.
Can they do it? The question is, will they do it? It's very difficult to beat somebody the way everybody thinks you can beat them a lot of times. Sometimes you just end up winning the game. It ends up being 21-14.
Yeah, we'll take it.
But I think that if they come out here and they want to really play and prove a point and send a message is what they need to do. They need to start sending messages to the teams that are coming up that this is not – then they need to start right now. There's nothing better than starting it on somebody that supposedly –
Well, Arizona covers this, no problem. They beat the 17.5 spread. That is today's best bet.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, guys, as we get closer and closer to the ball game, there's some similarities between these two teams. Last year, Arizona broke camp, and Kelvin, you remember I was harping on it. They need a starting quarterback. I can't keep going quarterback by committee. They couldn't figure one out until they got this year with Jaden DeLaura. Colorado's had the same thing. They went in to win the job. Neither one was able to move the ball effectively. That's why they're going with Owen Mcnowen tonight as a starter, starting his first game for the Colorado Buffaloes. Both teams are about a year apart as far as the development goes. Right now, Carl Durrell's under duress. Arizona needs a win, being 2-2, trying to get to 3-2 before you get those big games coming up against Oregon and the rest. Jed Fish said this, and I thought this was interesting. He was asked, I think Michael Lev of the Arizona Daily Star asked him this, talking about playing a desperate team like Colorado. Jed's answer surprised a lot of people. Here's Jed Fish, cut 22.
Well, I think we're desperate. So we'll see what two desperate teams look like. I think that it's a situation where you're playing against a team that has lost to 4 teams that are 14-1, and they're probably hopeful to be able to find a way to get wins. There's 8 games left in the season for both teams, and the key is to be able to have the same
10 seconds
play and never allow the team you play, the record of a team you're playing, to ever affect the outcome of a game.
Yeah, no, you don't want to think about the record of the other team because, again, you coming around looking at the record, looking at the records, and you'll forget that team really believes that they can beat you. That team beat you last year,
right?
So you can't underestimate them.
They beat you 34-0.
They beat you 34-0. They got that thing circled on there that you the team that they can beat, and they're going to come out here and try to run the ball like they did last time on us and try to steal them a victory.
People got to understand records are talking about the past. The past has nothing to do with today. They have nothing to do with today. So they're talking about the past. In the past this happened, in the past this happened. Well, their record is this year. Our record is this. That has nothing to do with today.
About 3 minutes, fellas.
What have I missed? Is there anything else that we need to bring up before we send it inside to Brian?
Nah, man, it's been a great day. Great having David on today. Man, got to see the guy Chuck. Man,
yeah,
Byron Evans. Are you serious?
Listen, this is like going through the media guide of all the great Arizona players on today's program.
Man, I think we hit him, man.
We had a great day.
Yeah,
great
this
day.
has been fun. All right, Arizona getting ready to take on Colorado. First of all, I do want to thank Sweetie David Adams for joining us here on the program today, sitting in for Glenn. What's his name? No, Glenn Howe. Glenn, I know you're listening.
The man,
that's right.
Shredded.
That's right. And the best
Body
mustache.
Beautiful.
The
Body
best
beautiful.
mustache in the history of college football, right?
For sure.
Should we talk about the tight end real quick just so we make sure we get that quota in?
Oh, hey.
We did talk about the tight end. We're
I
going
know,
to be too
but,
tight.
Again, we gotta talk about the tight end because that makes Glenn happy. So again, we're gonna hope to see a lot of throws to the tight end, a lot of throws to the running back, and a lot of offense today for the Arizona Wildcats. That's the goal today, as Arizona will take on Colorado. All right, so here's the schedule. We're going to send it inside to the stadium. Brian Jeffries is ready to go. He'll take you the rest of the way right up until kickoff. Game gets going at 6:30 tonight. 6:30. Don't forget, next week's ball game is a 6 o'clock start against Oregon. So Arizona has 2 home games back-to-back. So we'll be back out here next week at the mall.
Hey, right back out here. Hopefully another beautiful day like today. Man.
Oh,
it's been
gorgeous
a great day.
today.
Yes.
If you don't have tickets, you haven't got your tickets yet, there are tickets still available. 621-CATS, 621-CATS, Arizona Wildcats. You can download them right to your phone if you're just driving around town. Go to a game. It is going to be a gorgeous night here in Tucson. So we invite you to come out and come out to the game. It has been a great time. So we got to thank everybody for helping us out on the broadcast today. Josh, thank you so much. Big thanks to J.W. Madden back in our studios. We'll see you back out there after the ball game, our entire promotional crew. But I do want to take just this minute that we have left to thank David Adams, Sweet D. I mean, for so many years I've heard about you. I've been able to hear your story.